As you talk sports, they were talking boxing. Proudly joined as always by Dev Sahni. How are you doing today, Dev?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
Not too bad. I think last time we spoke was in Saudi. Since then, we're in a new year. You know, we've had Christmas. How have you been?
I've been fantastic. I had a nice little break, energised by height, of course, but I'm re-energised. I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to Shiraz Williams coming up February 10th next weekend, and then Fury-Usyk, undisputed, first undisputed since 1999. Unbelievable sequence of fights coming up.
Definitely. So we'll talk about this card first. We're here at Birmingham Boxing Club for Shiraz versus Williams. A very, very good card. We'll talk about the main event first. Do you think this is Hamza Shiraz's toughest test?
Absolutely. By a country mile, this is his toughest test. But a lot of it depends on Liam Williams. If he's still that same guy, the guy that ran amok through the middleweight division domestically, the guy that done Joe Mullender in a couple of rounds, Atlantis Fox, Mark Heffron, if he's still that guy, Hamza Shiraz has got a real test in front of him. If he's maybe a little bit faded, which I guess if you're Team Shiraz, you're hoping that's the case, then you've got a chance to make a statement. But we really don't know till the first bell rings. Liam Williams looks like he's training very hard for this. He's certainly not cutting any corners, and he had a little run out at your call. That'll do a great little bit for the confidence, just banging someone out and being like, yeah, I'm still that guy. So big test.
We saw it in his last, obviously he had a run out at your call, but his last notable fight, big fight, was against Chris Eubank Jr. Obviously in the early stages he did get dropped, but he still came on tough, and a lot of people say that he made the scorecards very close. Do you think that it's a case of Hamza Shiraz needs to be kind of perfect for this fight, because you never know what can come?
Yeah, of course. Look, Liam Williams is a big banger. I think he's got like 20 knockouts or something from his the fights that he's had. So he hits very hard. I've seen up close him hitting very hard. The knockout against Joe Mullender at Royal Albert Hall still plays over in my head sometimes. It was like one that got allowed to continue perhaps beyond what it should have done, and Liam Williams just ironed him out. Unbelievable. So he's got power. If Hamza Shiraz switches off and Liam Williams is still that guy, Liam Williams can switch Hamza Shiraz off. That's the danger levels in this fight.
And do you think this is a statement for Hamza Shiraz, saying, he's tired of people saying he's going to be, he's a massive prospect, he's going to be the next big thing, and he wants to actually show that, he is that guy?
Yeah, look, this is the opportunity, because you take this fight because Liam Williams is a known commodity. Liam Williams has gone the distance with Chris Eubank Jr., Demetrius Andrade. If you make a statement against him, if you beat him better than he's been beaten in the past, then you can show the world you really are that guy. If he knocks out Liam Williams early, late, he tells the world that he's one of the best middleweights out there in a division where someone's crying out, or the division is crying out for someone to come and grab it and be the next star. Jamal Charlo is just sitting there with his belt and he's not defending it. And it's like someone needs to get hold of it. And Hamza Shiraz, unbeaten, knockout streak, looks the part, young, could be the man.
Do you think that's what Hamza Shiraz wants to do? He wants to put on a statement, not just win, but really put on a statement.
I think he will. Look, winning's the most important thing. You add Liam Williams to your resume, you're in a very good place, because only good fighters beat him. But you win with a statement, then it kind of supercharges you towards the very top. You capture the public's imagination, and that's what he does. He only knocks people out now. He's got 12 knockouts in a row. He's an unbelievable puncher at this weight. So should he win, I'd imagine he'll do it by knockout.
Definitely. And someone else we're going to see in the ring a little later is Anthony Yard. Obviously he had his massive fight against Artur Beterbiev. He's troubled Beterbiev there. We've seen how Beterbiev's gone on. Do you think now with Buatsi Aziz on the weekend, if Anthony Yard gets a victory, as people think that he will, we could start seeing some very big domestic fights?
Look, I think Anthony Yard against anyone is a big fight, to be honest. The way he's positioned himself right now, I think he's clearly the number one light heavyweight in the country. He's one of the best light heavyweights in the world. His performance against Artur Beterbiev has aged well. He did so well in that fight, and he just came up against an absolute monster. I think Anthony Yard against Callum Smith, Buatsi Aziz winner, these are big fights. These are fights that the public want to see him in. I'd imagine these are fights that he wants to see himself in as well. So let's see. Fingers crossed.
And talking about Buatsi Aziz, who do you think will become victorious on Saturday?
It's a genuine 50-50. It really is. Because Buatsi's got all that amateur pedigree, hasn't done an awful lot wrong yet as a pro. But Dan Aziz has sort of come up on the blind side in the division. And if you really think about it, he's done more as a professional than Buatsi has. Buatsi hasn't been European champion, has he? I don't think he has. So Dan Aziz has come through. I think he's been British, Commonwealth, European. He's winning all of those belts, and the next step is world title. It's a real 50-50. I don't know who to pick, but I will be tuning in for sure.
Definitely. And do you think, obviously, another domestic light heavyweight, we saw him out in Saudi against Dimitri Bivol, Lyndon Arthur, do you think you can throw him in the mix there?
Yeah, look, it depends on what he wants to do. You know, he went the distance with Dimitri Bivol. And let's see. He's still a big name. That you kind of get to a stage with these fighters where once you've been in certain fights, you become a bit of a commodity. So Lyndon Arthur will always be the guy that beat Anthony Yard. He's got a win over Anthony Yard. He's also got a loss to him. He also went the distance with Bivol. So you throw him in the name with any of these, in the mix with any of these guys, and people will want to tune in.
Definitely. Now let's move on to the massive fight, the one that everyone's talking about, Fury versus Usyk. I'm guessing you're gonna pick Fury, but what I'll ask is, how do you think Usyk will compare to Tyson's previous opponents?
So look, he's about 5 inches shorter, about 50 pounds lighter. Who has Tyson fought like that? Hey, maybe it was a long time ago. Maybe the last stern test he had, someone with those sorts of dimensions, was Steve Cunningham, and we know Steve Cunningham had him over. So, but that was a long time ago. And it was also like a different version of Tyson Fury. Tyson now is much more accomplished, hasn't got that curly mop of hair anymore. He's been to the top of the mountain, he is at the top of the mountain. So how does Usyk compare? It will be a big challenge because Usyk's great. Usyk's a genius. Usyk's an Olympic gold medalist. Usyk is a southpaw. Usyk has his tail up. He's got back-to-back wins over Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, undisputed at cruiserweight. He's got all the credentials in the world to give Tyson Fury problems, but it might all just come down to size.
Definitely. And obviously, with Tyson Fury, a lot of people are questioning whether he's still as good as we've seen him previously with that fight against Francis Ngannou. What do you say to that?
I would say that Francis Ngannou proved that night that he's a real force, and some of the things that Tyson does that has success against other opponents, like leaning on them, you couldn't do it against Francis Ngannou. He could still do that to Alexander Usyk though. Alexander Usyk isn't 270 pounds of muscular block that's just going to shake him off. That's what Ngannou turned out to be. Usyk's not. Fury leans on Usyk. Usyk stays leaned on. So I don't buy into this Fury being past his best. I think Ngannou was just widely better than expected. No one knew what to expect. Remember, there was no tape of Ngannou in a boxing ring, and he was throwing out these videos where he was hitting pads and stuff and looking very rubbish. So no one knew what to expect with Ngannou, but I still think Fury's that guy, and hopefully he can show it on Feb 17th.
And speaking of Ngannou, obviously he's got a massive fight against Anthony Joshua. With him, his performance against Fury, and now Joshua's got tape. Do you think that it makes it a bit of an easier fight for Joshua compared to when Fury fought Francis?
Yeah, it's still a difficult fight because Francis Ngannou can bang and he can box, so it's a difficult fight. Is it easier now? It has to be, because there's 10 rounds of footage there. Tyson's essentially tested the water to see how hot it is, found out at times in certain places it's very hot, and now Anthony Joshua knows, okay, this is proper water here, I can't just jump in there, let me gradually make my way in. So he's got a slightly easier task just because there is now tape. That's just an obvious thing. Still not an easy task by any means.
And we saw it in the press conference with Fury, Joshua and Ngannou. He was firing shots at Fury a little bit, saying that he wants to prove that he's the best British heavyweight. And he said that anybody that they both fought together, Joshua has made a better job of. Do you believe that, and what's your opinions on that?
I haven't really got an opinion. I just want to see them fight. They're like, for years and years, back and forth, this has been sort of going on. They'll take little jabs at each other. but none of it really matters, does it? Common opponents and all of that stuff. We just hopefully we'll see them fight one day.
Is that the fact that you think is the fact that makes sense if Fury and Joshua do get their wins?
It sounds like that's what His Excellency is talking about. You know, winners fighting winners, and it would be fantastic. It's a fight that's been brewing for years and years and years, and I'm sure there will be a real public want for that to happen.
Thank you very much for your time, Dev. I really appreciate it. Thank you.